Good morning, everybody. How are you? It is Friday. This week has just been so weird. Anyway, we're going to make some gluten-free bread today, and we're going to actually turn them into bread rolls. So this is a beautiful loaf of bread off the UK cookie dough. It makes a phenomenal freestyle loaf. It also makes a perfect loaf tin loaf. It does also make a perfect pizza paste like we did yesterday. So if you need those tips, go check that out from yesterday's live. But today I'm going to show you how to make bread rolls, because these make amazing bread rolls as well. Closest I can find to actual bread rolls. Okay, so let's get cooking. There are some things I've started off with already today. So I've already milled down some almonds because actually, truth be known, I made a mistake the other day and milled them down too long, and then I couldn't put them in my pre-packaged bags that I'm taking away with me. So I put it away, put it in the fridge, and I thought, oh, I'll use it today. So 80 grams of almonds, in they go. Check. You see I took it too far. It was actually nearly peanut butter, which was the problem. So I wanted to store this away in my beautiful big 1.5 litre bags from the mix shop with the big lock on the top that you would have seen me using on Wednesday. I wanted to store it away like that. But obviously if you take it through to a nut butter, then the liquid's coming out of it, right? It's coming out, and if it comes out, then it's going to make it all go rancid. So we don't want that. So I took it too far, so hence put it in the fridge and ready for today. Okay, almonds, we would normally mill them down. They are milled down already, as you can see. Good morning, Carissa, lovely to have you on. It normally mills for 1 minute. Here's my first tip. I did 1 minute. It turned it nearly into peanut butter. Don't do 1 minute. Do 30 seconds. That is more than enough time for 80 grams of almonds. If you don't have almonds, use cashews. It'll just make your loaf a little bit lighter in colour. The other thing you can do to make it a little bit lighter again is use almonds that don't have the little husk on. What's that called? Blanched almonds. If you use blanched almonds, it's a really pale loaf. Obviously, the husk of your almond gives it a little bit of a brown fleck through. Depends if you're trying to hide it from kids, okay? Or adults. Meanwhile, line a baking tray with paper. Okay, scrape down the sides of the mixing bowl. Now I don't need to do that. Let's keep going. Okay, so we've got some yeast to start off with. 2 teaspoons of dried instant yeast. In that goes. And it does say all crumbed, fresh crumbed yeast. You'd have to go to a bakery to get your hands on that. So that goes in. Next, 400 grams of gluten-free plain white flour. Now I might get stuck because I'm not actually sure I've got a pair of scissors in here or a knife to get into the bag. Excuse me, boys, can somebody please bring me a pair of scissors or a knife, a sharp knife, please? Because the bag is here, but the bag is not open. So can't get into it. We'll just move on while I wait for somebody to come pass me some scissors or knife, and we're going to put our oil in. So 60 grams of oil. Oh, we can go back. It's all right. I've got the knife. All right. Here we go. 400 grams. It's a decent amount of gluten-free flour. You can make your own gluten-free flour. You'll find a recipe on Cookie Dough. The hardest things to find are actually, there's a potato starch that you'll find in the recipe that you'll need to source from an Asian shop. But otherwise, sometimes these days it is in your Coles or Woolworths as well, but predominantly you may not find it there, so you might have to go elsewhere. Oops, there we go, a little bit heavy, but that's all right. But that's kind of the main ingredient that I find is a bit tricky. There's so many other things you can mill down yourself, because it's got, normally in the gluten-free flour mix, you'll find white rice, some sushi rice, so glutinous rice. You'll find brown rice, you'll find the tapioca. They're all things you can pick up on the supermarket shelf. However, it is the potato starch that, you know, it may not be in Woolies and Coles. So, but it is on Cookie Dough. There is a gluten-free flour mix you can make yourself. 60 grams of oil. Good morning, Annette. Lovely to have you on. So let's put this in as well. It's a fair bit of oil, but don't stress. Just think of it like butter in baking, because that's, in essence, what we're doing is we're baking. There we go. Okay, 300 grams of sparkling mineral water. I don't have that. I'm just going to use water. Good morning, Sky. Lovely to have you on. 300 grams. I'm just going to put about 295, and then I'm actually going to top it up with some apple cider vinegar to give it that little bit of a sparkle. Oh, nearly went too heavy. Hey, Sky, I know that you guys are gluten-free. The last 3 mornings I have done gluten-free recipes. You might enjoy them. So check them out. Okay, 2 large eggs. Oh, somebody got a bit extra keen in here. There's 3. Let's just see if we can get 2 out of here. 1, 2. There we go. And 1 tablespoon of sugar. I'm going to skip out the sugar. But if you're feeding it to your family and they're accustomed to store-bought bread rolls and stuff, put the sugar in, okay? The sugar does also help make them a little bit fluffier because the yeast likes to eat it. It actually makes that yeast work a bit faster. So it can at times make it fluffier. Okay, 1 tablespoon of xanthan gum. This is your thickener. I'm using gar gum, as I've mentioned other days. To make bread rolls with it, let's just put a little bit extra in because I want it to be a little bit thicker. I don't want it to be too gluggy. It doesn't need too much extra, probably another half a teaspoon. It'll just help thicken that up. Binds it together. All right, some baking powder. So this is normally in a little barrel in your supermarkets. You'll know that you've used it a fair bit in baking if you are a baker. So 1.5 teaspoons. Okay, I'm just guesstimating now. I should use the right end. Hang on. I thought it was tablespoons. Okay. So 1.5. Oh, getting to the bottom pickings of my bag now. Alright, next we've got some salt. 1 teaspoon of salt. Might just put a little bit more in because that was not a full teaspoon. And we're nearly done. On with the lid into the mixing bowl. Now it's going to pull this together 5. Now I don't think it needs a full 5 minutes. So give that a spin and let it do its thing. You are going to need to do gluten-free bread rolls. A couple of things. First of all, you're going to need a tray. Okay, you will need that. Second thing you're going to need is a container of wet water. Of water. Water is wet, right? So you'll just need a container of water, or you need to be by your sink. Because like yesterday with the pizza dough, you need to use wet hands to shape these. This is the best way to do it, is with wet hands. So as this comes together, I'll show you how we're going to shape it. But I've got my thermoserver, okay, my white thermoserver, half full of water, ready to go, so that I can keep my hands really damp to shape these bread rolls. Now, once they've been shapened, you need to still let them prove. You need to put them in a warm spot for at least half an hour. Let them grow. Now, that won't be the end of it. When you then go put them in an oven, a little tip, put them in a cold oven. Because what's going to happen is you're then going to put them in the oven, turn the temperature to 180, and then through that cooking time where it's coming up to temp, you'll actually get more rising on those bread rolls. It's a really great shortcut for normal bread as well, where you actually put it in the oven cold, turn the temp on, and then they do that second rise in the oven as well. Do it with your normal bread rolls as well. This is coming together beautifully. I can hear the Thermomix bring it in, stretching it out. Now, today, I'm excited this afternoon. I'm going to show you some bayo buns. So those of you who are not gluten-free, come back about 12:30 and we're going to make bayo buns, which are going to be so yummy. That's going to be for either afternoon tea or dinner. I don't know which one. But excited to show you that. Yesterday's croissants were fantastic. I don't know if you guys saw the pictures, but totally amazing. If you have not tried croissants, this is your time. Do it this weekend. Give it a go. It's not as hard as you think. Make the dough today and then assemble it tomorrow. However, it's not gluten-free. Okay, if you're watching along this morning because you are gluten-free, it can't be made gluten-free. Okay, it can't be made dairy-free as far as I know either. So it is full of gluten and full of dairy. So I'm happy with how long that's needed for, in all honesty. So I'm going to now move on because I'm impatient, and I'm going to show you how we now do this. So I'll just show you this dough. You can see, as I've mentioned other days, gluten-free dough is a different ball game. It's not that nice smooth dough that you'd be used to working with. So if you are not used to cooking with gluten-free, you will realize it's quite a different thing to be working with. I'm just going to make some space so you guys can come back and see me shape these bread rolls. Can I get you to put that in the freezer again?
Yes.
Thanks, bud. Now I am going to draw, actually before I get my hands dirty, I nearly forgot, I am going to draw this morning my customer support group. We've been doing a share a picture to go in the draw to win, and today I'm going to do that draw. So for last month, it was go into the draw to win the amazing cupcake holder, valued at I think $70. So I'm going to do that draw right now before I get my hands dirty, and let's see who gets to win the beautiful cupcake holder from the mix shop. So this morning's winner is Nicole. So Nicole, I will reach out to you. and get you the cupcake holder before I head off next week. So that's pretty cool. Congratulations, Nicole. Thank you to all of you guys who shared your pictures and inspired one another. It's so lovely to see, I guess, what we can do with our Thermomix, because what I do and what you do, it can be completely different, and I can be inspired by you, and you guys can inspire me and each other. So thank you to you guys being part of that. Nicole, I will reach out to you today and sort that out. So here is the dough. Let's use the little, hopefully the little bit on the bottom, give it a spin and see if it'll fall out. It is a really tacky dough. I may need to scrape it out or spatula it out. I'm going to have to use my spatula. Now, even if I needed for the full 5 minutes, it still would be this tacky. All right, that doesn't change with gluten-free, but the trick is to use wet hands. So let's get this out of the bowl as much as we can. It's probably the biggest challenge of gluten-free, but how amazing is our pre-clean on our TM6? It really makes light work of cleaning this bowl afterwards. I can put it on that clean and know that the bowl is going to be beautiful after. Now, for those of you who are gluten-free, this makes an amazing hot cross bun as well. Okay, so I know Easter is done. However, if you take the spice mixes out of the standard hot cross bun recipe of nutmeg and cinnamon and cloves and that sort of stuff, and you put it into this dough, and then you add a handful of sultanas or mixed, what are they called? Dried fruit. I was going to say mixed veggies. That's not it. It's amazing. Now there's a bit of dough left there, so I'm just going to spin it on speed 10 for a second. So let's bring up the home screen, speed 10. Won't take long. So that's just popped it all out to the side, so I can easily scrape it off there as well. Just going to get rid of these helpful things on the screen. Oh, you've seen vegan croissants at the supermarket. That sounds exciting, Carissa. I wonder what they use. I'm very curious to know what they use. I mean, there's so many amazing substitutes these days. You know, even on our cookie dough, we've got vegan cheeses, and they're made on cashews and almonds and carrots and all sorts of yummy stuff. So I wonder what they use for the vegan croissants. I mean, it would only be the butter. The butter's the only thing in there that's not, right? So maybe they can make it on Nutlex. I don't know. All right. Hello, Jamie. Lovely to have you on. Alrighty-o, let's get going with this. So we need to divide this up. First things first, I'm going to use my dough divider. What's that called? Bowl scraper. Oh, no, I'm not. Look at that mess. Never mind. We'll just put that aside. Let's just use our hands. Thought that would work well, but no. We need to take a little dough ball out. Where's the camera? A little higher. There we go. And we're going to just shape it into a nice, neat ball. The neater the ball, the neater the final product. So if you've got a really messy top on it, you're going to end up with a messier bread roll. I mean, it does prove. So in the proving process, you kind of lose a little bit of the messy, the rusticness. However, you can see there my hands are getting tacky again. However, yeah, the smoother the top, the smoother the outcome. So just work it around in your fingers. You'll see the tapioca that's in there, in that gluten-free flour, is what makes it slimy. I guess is the only word I can explain it as. That hasn't got enough in it, so I'll just add some more. There we go. But yes, hot cross buns with this recipe are amazing as well. Now you want to leave them with about a 1 centimetre gap between the bread rolls. So the reason being is they will still grow. They've got yeast in them. So they are going to expand and hit each other and become looking like bread rolls. So here we go. Okay, there we go. So they're coming together nicely. And I'm just going to keep going and doing this. So then what happens is we need to cover them for about half an hour, or an hour if you don't have a warm spot. I've got a proving function on my oven, so I can just sit them in there and it'll probably be about half an hour covered. Now the reason for the covered is so that they don't dry out. If they dry out on top, the yeast has a really hard time of doing its job. It kind of can't then grow through that crusty outer layer. So that's the reason why it's covered. And then we put them in the oven, turn the temperature on once it's in to 180, and it'll take about 15 to 18 minutes to be ready in there. And you'll notice they will grow in that last prove in there considerably as well. So I am going to continue to shape these. You can put sesame seeds on top, just a little FYI, if you like seeds on top of your bread rolls. If you don't worry about it, okay? You can also make them slightly flatter. So before you go to cook them in the oven, just push them down on the top so that you're not ending up with big mounding bread rolls. You're ending up with more like little flat hamburger bread rolls. That's certainly an option as well. But if you are gluten-free and you've not tried this, you need to give it a go. It's not as hard as it looks. The hardest thing is keeping your hands wet to make a nice final product. Otherwise, you'll find that dough will just become incredibly sticky and stick to your hands. But I'm going to keep going. This will probably make another 6, 7, probably 11. I don't know, that for some reason I don't feel like I might get the 12th out of it. I think I might have got a little too big for the 12. I will be pushing them together a bit though, because you can see here there's a big gap in the tray, so I will make sure that they are like that. That's how far apart, dropping some stuff, that's how far apart you want them, because then they grow into each other. So I don't know that you guys can see that. Let's wiggle back a bit. There you go. All right, so that's it from me this morning. I will see you guys about 12:30 if you'd like to see how to make bayo buns, which is going to be beautiful tonight for dinner. I hope you've enjoyed the bread series. I hope you've enjoyed the last 3 days of learning how to make different gluten-free breads in the morning, and then in the afternoon, the beautiful croissants. We did ravioli the first day. That was amazing, I've got to say. I'm so stoked with that. And not using anything fancy. So those of you who didn't see the ravioli, it wasn't using anything fancy. It was literally using a tray, like a half mold tray. So you don't need anything fancy to make ravioli. So check that out if you didn't get to see it on Wednesday. But let me know if I can help you with a demonstration, if you've got friends and family who want to check out the Thermomix and see what it's all about, and you know, be able to have freedom in their food and make amazing food so easily and quickly. By all means, I'd love to do a demo for you and them and answer their questions. But otherwise, guys, take care. Enjoy the rest of Friday. I hope to see you online at 12:30, and we'll see you then. Bye, guys. Can you come push the end button? Down here, the red one that says end. Sorry, guys, my hands are too gross. I can't. Down the bottom. You're over on this screen. Over there. Down, down. See it? Down. There it is. That's it. And then there'll be a pop-up that comes up. Sorry, guys. Try again. Okay. Over that one, the blue one. Over.